This conference will now be recorded.
Fine. Let us start the session. Let me go and open one notepad. Let me keep here. What is the agenda for today's session is? What is the agenda for today's session is? In today's session, we're going to discuss about introduction to introduction to Microsoft SQL Server. So in the next coming 60 minutes of time, in the next coming 60 minutes of time, what we are going to discuss is we'll understand in detail what is this Microsoft SQL Server. Online people, please be on mute. If you have any questions, please make a note of them. I'll give some time to discuss with the questions at the end of the session. So please don't disturb the class in the middle. So now try to understand. The next coming 60 minutes, in today's session, we'll discuss about what? Complete introduction to Microsoft SQL Server. Now in this introduction class, we'll understand few points. I think most of you people know that what is this SQL Server means. Some of the people will tell that SQL Server is a database software. What is this SQL means? Few people will tell that SQL Server is what software? Database software. I think most of the people also know this. And some other people will call them SQL Server is what software means. They will call it as an RDBMS software. Some other people will call it as what? RDBMS software. And also there are some people where they will call the SQL Server as a back-end development software. Few people will call it as what? Back-end development software. Now people will call this SQL Server with the different names, guys. Few people will call it as a database software. Few people will call it as an RDBMS software, and some other will call it as a backend development software. Now, why people are calling the SQL Server with these different names, you'll understand. By the end of the session, we'll understand all these points, guys. Whatever I'm keeping here. Along with this, we'll understand few more points now in today's session. Along with this, we'll understand one more point. The next point we are going to understand here is who will use them who will use the SQL Server software will understand. Who will use the SQL Server software will understand. Along with this, we'll understand one more point. Who will hire the SQL Server developers? Who will hire the SQL Server developers also will understand now in today's session. So we'll understand these 2 points also, guys. So here, first let me go and discuss about who will use the SQL Server software. First, we'll understand this point, guys. Which companies will use the SQL Server software, will understand, and then we'll discuss about who will hire the SQL Server developers. First of all, try to understand who will use this SQL Server software means. If there is any company, if you take any company, if there is any company, what the companies will do? The companies will do what? The companies are going to do some business. If you take any company case, let us take a well-known company for you. Let us take Amazon. Now Amazon is doing one business. What kind of business the Amazon is doing? Amazon is doing the e-commerce business, that is retail business. Let us take some other company. Let us take ICICI. ICICI is doing one business. What kind of business it is doing? Banking business. In the same way, let us take another one more company, Swiggy. Swiggy is doing one business. What business the Swiggy is doing? Food business. So like this, if you take any company, the companies will do what? The companies will do the business. So if the company is doing some business, that companies is going to generate what means the companies are going to generate the business data. What the companies are going to generate? If there is any company, if that company is doing some business, that company is going to generate what? Business data. Now what is this business data? Let us say Amazon is there. Amazon is doing what business? E-commerce business. So Amazon is going to sell the products to the customers. Now Amazon is going to generate what kind of data? Amazon is going to generate the orders related data. Amazon is going to generate the sales related data. Amazon is going to generate the products related data. Amazon is going to generate the customers related data. Amazon is going to generate some accounts related data, or they will generate some what is the profits they are getting, profit related data. Like this, imagine is going to generate some business data. In the same way, if you take ICICI is doing what business? Banking business. Now ICICI is going to generate what business? What data it is going to generate? So here also they are going to generate the customers related data. They are going to generate some loans related data. They are going to generate some accounts related data. Different types of accounts, different types of loans will be there. So like this, if you take any company case, whatever the company it is, maybe the company will do different types of businesses. Any business if you take, the companies are going to generate what means business data. So as we know that if there is any company, the companies are going to generate what means the companies are going to generate the business data. Now if the company is generating some business means, if the company is doing some business means, that company is generating some business data. Now whatever the business data the companies are generating, now they need to store their business data at one place. Now try to understand what the companies need to do. The companies need to store their business data. The companies need to store their business data. Now what is the place where the companies need to store their business data? Nowadays, where the companies are storing their business data means, the companies are storing their business data. One of the software the companies are using what? SQL Server software. So if the company wants to store their business data, that company need to buy one software. So what is the software nowadays the companies are using in order to store their business data means, the companies are using the SQL Server software. Most of the companies are using the SQL Server software in order to go and store their business data. Now we'll understand here who will use the SQL Server software, guys. Now who will use the SQL Server software? Any company, whatever the business the companies are doing, the company is going to generate what? Business data. If the company is generating some business data, that companies need to go and store their business data at one place. Now if the company wants to go and store their business data means, nowadays what is the software the companies are using in order to go and store their business data means, SQL Server is the software. Now we know that who will use the SQL Server software. Next point you need to understand here is what? Who will hire the SQL Server developers? Now see, who will hire the SQL Server developers? For this question also the same answer. Which company, which company is using the SQL Server software in order to go and store their business data? That company need to hire whom? That company need to hire the SQL Server developers. So business organizers, they know that how to do the business, but they don't know that how to go and work with the SQL. So if the company is storing their business data in the SQL means, that company need to hire whom? That company need to go and hire the SQL Server developers. So for both the questions, the same answer guys. Who will use the SQL Server software and who will hire the SQL Server developers means same answer. Any company, if they are doing some business, they are going to generate some business data. If they are generating some business data, they need to store their business data at one place. So in order to go and store their business data, the companies are using what software nowadays? SQL Server. So if the company is using the SQL Server software in order to go and store their business data, that company need to hire whom? That company need to hire the SQL Server developers. Now we understand these 2 points here, guys. Who will hire the SQL Server developers and who will use the SQL Server software? And now see, I think most of you people know that what is meant by business. No need to go and explain again here what is a business. Now try to understand. You need to understand one point here. What is this business data? So you need to have some understand or what is the definition of data, guys. Now let me go and keep here. What is the definition of data? First of all, let me go and keep here. What is the definition for data? In general, what is meant by data, guys? Let me go and keep here. What is the definition of data? Now see, data is nothing but a fact. Data is nothing but a fact or information. Data is nothing but a fact or information which is collected together, which is collected together and stored in a separate place, and stored in a separate place for future analysis, for future analysis or for reporting purpose, or for reporting purpose. This is what the definition of data. Now try to understand, guys, what I am keeping here. I am telling that data is nothing but what? Data is nothing but a fact or information. Now see, whatever the information we are having with us, whatever the information it is, if you have some information with you, that information I'm calling it as what? That information I'm calling it as a data. Simple. What is meant by data means, if you have some information with you, that information I'm calling it as what? Data. Let us say one simple example. I'm having some other mobile number with me, guys. I'm collecting some other mobile number with me. This is the mobile number I'm having with me. Now what I can do with this mobile number? This is the information I'm having with me. Now first thing is I can go and store this mobile number in my mobile phone, and second thing is I can share this mobile number to some other persons. So this is the information I'm having with us. So whatever the information I'm having with us, that information I'm calling it as what? Data. So simple words, we can say that data is nothing but the information. And next point I'm keeping here, data is nothing but a fact or information which is collected together. Now, as a SQL Server developer, you need to go and collect the data together, guys. Why? Because in the real-time scenarios, the business organizers, they won't store their business data at one place. Business organizers, they won't store their business data at one place. They will store the business data at different locations like this. As a SQL developer, you need to go and do what? You need to go and collect the data together. First, go and collect the data from the different places. First, go and collect the data from the different places. Once after collecting the data together, and go and store that data in a separate place. First collect the data. Once after collecting the data, go and store that data at one place. Now see, why I need to go and store that data at one place. Okay, I'm telling that go and collect the data, store that data at one place. Why we need to store it? Because for future analysis or for reporting purpose. For future analysis purpose or for reporting purpose, you need to go and store your business data at one place, guys. Now see, what is this analysis? What is meant by analysis? Let us say, try to understand. Let me go and explain what is this analysis, guys. Suppose think that I'm doing one business from the last 3 years. Let us say I'm doing one business from the last 3 years. What's the business I'm doing here is, let's say I'm doing some retail business, guys. Retail means like Amazon, Flipkart, like this. I'm going to sell some products to the customers. Now, what's my requirement here is, I want to understand what is happening in my business in the last 3 years. In the last 3 years, what is happening in my business? I need to go and analyze it. Now, what is this analysis means? I want to understand in the last 3 years, what is the amount I'm spending on the business? I want to understand what is the amount I'm spending on the business in the last 3 years. And also I want to understand what is the profit I'm getting. I want to understand what's the profit I'm getting. And also I want to understand what is the loss I'm getting. If I'm getting any loss, how to overcome that loss. I want to take some decisions. And also I want to understand what are the products I'm selling to the customers. What are the top selling products? What are the bottom selling products? Which products the customers are buying more? By selling which product I'm getting more profit. And also which product is doing more sales. Like this, I need to go and analyze the data. This is called as analysis. And also I want to understand the customers related data. Customers related data means which age group customers are buying more number of products. What are the top 5 customers? What are the bottom 5 customers? At what time the customers are willing to buy the products? Like this, I need to go and analyze my business data. Now try to understand. I'm telling that this is what we'll call it as analysis. Now why I need to go for analysis? Why I need to go and do the analysis here? Successfully I'm doing the business from the last 3 years means okay, I'm running some profits. Why I need to go and do analysis here again? Because to take some decisions. Let us say I'm doing the business in India itself. Let's say I'm doing the business in only one country. Now I want to start the same business in USA also. I want to start the same business in USA also. So before going to start the same business in US, first in India, what is happening in the company or what is happening in my business, I want to understand. So here by doing this analysis, I can understand which products the customers are buying more. The same products I'm making available in the US location also. And also which age group customers are buying more number of products, here I need to analyze it. The same age group customers I need to go and target in US also. And also I want to understand which type of products the customers are buying more. Those products I need to make available every time in my business. So like this, if you want to take any business decisions or if you want to enhance your business in future, then in this case mandatorily you need to go into what? Analysis. Without doing any analysis, if you directly go and start the business, means no one will go and start the business blindly without doing analysis. So if you want to do the analysis, means like this, mandatorily you need to do what? You need to go and store your business data at one place. Suppose think that you are not storing your business data, it is possible for us to analyze the data now? No, it is not possible. So mandatorily, anybody is doing some business, you need to go and store your business data at one place. And next point I'm keeping here, reporting. Now what is this reporting is? Reporting means nowadays business organizers are preferred to analyze the business data in which format, means in the report format. Nowadays business organizers are prefer to analyze the business data in which format? Report format. Now let us say I want to generate some report here, guys. I want to show them product wise what's the sales. In order to show the product wise what's the sales, I'm going to create one column chart here. In this column chart, I'm going to show product wise what is the sales. Now by seeing this visual, the business organizers they can understand which product is doing more sales and which product is doing less sales. Let us take in the x-axis I'm taking the products, and in the y-axis I'm taking what? Sales. Now see, by seeing this visual, we come to know that which product is doing more sales. This is the product. Which product is doing less sales. This is the product. And also I want to show product wise what is the profit. In order to show product wise what's the profit, I'm going to create one bar chart here. In this bar chart, I'm going to show the product wise profit. Previous visual is column chart is used to show the sales. Now here I want to show what? Profit. Product wise what's the profit I'm getting. In order to go and understand product wise what's the profit I'm getting, I'm going to create one bar chart here, guys. Bar visual or a bar chart. Now see, in this bar chart I'm going to take the product in the x-axis, y-axis, and I'm going to take the profit in the x-axis. Now see, by seeing this visual, we come to know that by selling which product I'm getting more profit. This is the product where I'm getting more profit. And if you see, there is one product where I'm getting some negative profits. So if I sell this product, I'm instead of getting positive profits, I'm getting some negative profits. So I need to stop selling this product here. So like this, if you want to analyze the business data, I need to go and get one type of visual, that is bar. And next, I want to understand in which month I am doing more business case. Let us say if you are doing one business, means you'll have the more demand for your business in all the months in a year. No. So some business will have more demand in January, February month. Some business will have more demand in some other months. Now I want to understand in which month I am doing more business. So to understand in which month I am doing more business, I'm going to create one line chart here, guys. In this line chart, I am representing here month wise what is the sales. So by seeing this line chart, I come to know that in which month I'm doing more business. Let us say I'm taking month in the x-axis, I'm going to take the sales in the y-axis. Now by seeing this visual, we come to know that in which month I'm doing more business, means this is the month where I'm doing more business. In which month I'm doing less business, means this is the month where I'm doing less business. If I know that in which month we are doing more business, in that month I need to target more number of customers, I need to do more number of sales. So in order to understand this, I'm going to create one line chart here. And also I want to understand in which region I'm doing more business case. Let us take in India, I'm doing the business in multiple regions. Now I want to understand in which region I'm doing more business. To understand region wise what is the business I'm doing, I'm creating one pie chart here. Now in this pie chart, I'm going to show the region wise what is the sales. Now by seeing this visual, I come to know that which region is doing more sales. This is the region where I'm doing more sales. And also to show total number of sales I'm doing, I'm going to create one card visual. So in this card visual, I'm going to show them what is the total sales. What is the total sales I'm doing is, let us say 10 million is the total sales. Like this, nowadays business organizers are preferred to analyze the business data in which format? Report format. If you represent the data in the report format like this, they can take the business decisions within less time. Within a fraction of seconds, they will take the business decisions. If you keep the same data in the tabular format, means it will take some time for the business organizers to understand the data. So if you want to generate this kind of report, mandatorily you need to have what? You need to go and store your business data at one place. Now tell me, if you are not storing your business data, it is possible for us to go and analyze the business data like this? No, it is not possible. So mandatorily, if you want to analyze your business data, or if you want to generate some reports like this, you need to go and store your business data at one place. So this is what the complete definition of what is meant by data. Next, the next point we are going to understand here is different formats of data, guys. In which format we are going to have the data? Now see, data will be in the text format. Sometimes data may be in the text format, number format, data may be in the image format, data will be in the audio format, sometimes data may be in the video format. Like this, different formats of data will be there. JSON format, XML format, data will be in different formats. But SQL developers will work on what kind of data? SQL developers are going to work on the either text related data or the number related data. SQL developers won't work on image, audio, video, remaining kind of data. SQL developers will work on what kind of data means we are going to work on either text or number related data. So this is about what is meant by data and in which format we are going to have the data, what type of data the SQL developers are going to work on. Now try to understand. I am telling that you need to go and store your business data at one place. Now what is that place where we need to go and store your business data? Nowadays we are using the SQL Server, but let me go and keep here. Try to understand. Try to understand. If in the older days, in the older days, when we are not having the laptops and the softwares like this, when we are not having the laptops and the softwares like this, where the business organizers are storing their business data? Yes, they are storing their business data in the record books. So if you go to the ancient days, in 90s, in the 90s, where the business organizers are storing their business data means in the record books they are storing. How they will store their business data in the record books means, as I said that I am doing the 3 years business, right? I'm doing one business from the last 3 years. Let us say I started doing the business in 2020. So to store the 2020 year business data, I'm keeping one record book. In this record book, I'm going to store which year business data? 2021 year business data. For 22 business data, I'm going to create one more record book. In this record book, I'm going to store 2022 business data. And I'm going to create one more record book to store the 2023 year business data. So like this, in the older days, how they are going to store the business data means they will keep the record books for each year wise. Year wise, they will keep the record books. Fine. We know that how the business organizers are storing their business data in the record books in older days. But now try to understand, when I go and store the business data in the record books like this, suppose think that there is one record book. Let's say in this record book, which year business data is there is 2020 year business data is there, 2021. Now what's my requirement here is, I want to go and analyze the data in this record book in 2030. Now what's my requirement? I need to go and analyze the data in this record book in which year? 2030. That means after 10 years. After 10 years, I need to go and analyze. Now tell me, it is possible for us to go and analyze the data in this record book after 10 years? No, it is not possible. The data will be there, but we are not able to analyze it. The data is going to be vast up. So what is the problem the business organizers are facing when they are storing the business data in the record books means they are not able to store the business data for longer periods like 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. If you want to store in the record books, no, it is not possible for us to store the data in the record books for longer period. Let me go and keep that point here, guys. What's the problem the business organizers are facing here is, it is not possible, it is not possible to store the data for longer periods. It is not possible to store the data for longer periods. Longer periods means 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. If you want to store in the record books, no, it is not possible. So in order to go and overcome this problem in later days, let me go and keep here. In later days, where the business organizers are storing their business data means they are storing their business data in the flat files. What are the different types of flat files we are having? Flat files like Excel. Excel is one of the flat file. Comma, CSV. CSV is one of the flat file. Comma, Google Sheets. Google Sheets is also one of the flat file. Like this, they will go and store their business data in the flat files like Excel. For now, you can understand what is the flat file means. Excel. Now, when I go and store the business data in the Excel files, I'm able to go and overcome this problem, guys. In order to go and store the data for longer periods, in later days where the business organizers are storing their business data means in the flat files like Excel. When I store the business data in the Excel files, I'm able to overcome this problem. I'm able to store that data in the Excel files for 10 years. If you want to store it for 20 years, you can store. If you want to store it for 30 years, you can store. Even for 100 years also, if you want to store the data in the Excel files, yes, you can store it. Whatever the data you are storing today in the Excel, even after 100 years also, the data will be there in the same. So in order to go and store the data for longer periods in later days, where the business organizers are storing their business data means in the flat files like Excel. When I store the data in the flat files like Excel, I am able to overcome this problem. I'm able to store the data for longer periods. Fine. Okay. But here also, when I store the data in the Excel files, here also they are facing one problem here, guys. What's the problem they are facing here is, let us say there is one top MNC company like Amazon. Let us take one top MNC company, guys. Whatever the company is, top MNC. Let us take Amazon. Now see, just for one day, just for one day, in the worldwide, how many products the Amazon can sell to the customers? Just for one day, in the worldwide, n number of. There is no limit. Let us take 1 lakh products they are selling in the worldwide. Now just think it for 30 days. Just think for 30 days. That is for 1 month. How many lakhs of products? 30 lakhs products they can sell. Now just think it for 90 days. How many lakhs of products they can sell in just 3 months? Around 100 lakh. Just for 3 months, 100 lakh products they are selling. 100 lakh is nothing but what? 10 million. Now tell me, it is possible to go and store the millions of records in the Excel files? No, it is not possible. Excel file can support hundreds of records or thousands of records. But my requirement is what? I want to store the millions of records. Now, if you want to store the millions of records in the Excel files, no, it is not possible. So what is the problem the business organizers are facing when they store the data in the flat files like Excel means? They are not able to store the huge volumes of data like millions of records. So let me go and keep that point here, guys. What's the problem they are facing here is, it is not possible to store the huge volumes of data. It is not possible to go and store the huge volumes of data. Huge volumes of data means millions of records like 10 million, 20 million, 30 million. Just for 3 months, they are generating 10 million. Think it for 1 year. Think it for 2 years. How many millions of records? So it is possible to store millions of records in Excel files means no, it is not possible. So now my requirement here is I need to go and overcome these two problems, guys. I need to go and store the data for longer periods, and also I want to store the huge volumes of data. So in order to go and overcome these two problems, nowadays where the business organizers nowadays where the business organizers are storing their business data means they are storing their business data in the database software systems. Where they are storing their business data, they are storing their business data in the database software systems. When I go and store the business data in the database software systems, I'm able to overcome these two problems. I'm able to store the data for longer periods when I go and store the data in the database software systems, and also I'm able to go and store the huge volumes of data. In order to go and overcome these two problems, nowadays where the business organizers are storing their business data means in the database software systems. Now we come to know that where the business organizers are storing their business data in nowadays, that is database software systems. Now again, these database software systems are classified into two types, guys. Let me go and keep here different types of database software systems. Now what are the different types of database software systems that are available in the market? Now there are two types of database software systems are available, guys. The first one is DBMS. The second one is RDBMS. These are the two database software systems nowadays the business organizers are using in order to go and store their business data. Now try to understand what is this DBMS and what is this RDBMS. First, let me go and keep here what the DBMS stands for. DBMS stands for Database Management System. Database Management Systems. Now, what the RDBMS stands for means RDBMS stands for Relational Database Management Systems. What the RDBMS stands for? Relational Database Management Systems. DBMS stands for Database Management Systems. RDBMS stands for Relational Database Management Systems. Now, just I'm keeping here the abbreviations, guys. What the DBMS and RDBMS. Now, let me go and keep the definitions. What is the definition for DBMS and what is the definition for RDBMS? First, let me go and keep the definition for DBMS. Now, what is this DBMS? Now, already you know that DBMS will comes under where? DBMS will comes under where? Database software systems. What is the use of these database software systems? These are used to store the data. Let me go and keep that point here. The first point I want to keep here is what is this DBMS means? DBMS is a software. DBMS is a software which is used to store the data. Already we know that DBMS is a software which is used to store the data. Not only to store the data and also allows the users user is nothing but the developer, allows the users to define, create, maintain and controls the access to the databases and controls the access to the databases. This is what the definition of DBMS. Let me go and explain now. Let me go and explain in detail. Now try to understand, guys. Already we know that it is used to store what? Data. Now not only to store the data, it also allows the users to define or create. Now what is this define or create? Now see, in this DBMS softwares, how you are going to store the data means you are going to store the data in the tabular format. That means rows and columns. Before going to store the data, you need to go and define or create the table structure. Before going to store the data, you need to create one table. What are the columns and what's the table name? So it will allow the users to define or create the table structure. Let us say I'm going to create one table here. So what is the table name is employees. In this table, what columns I'm going to keep here is employee number column, employee name column, salary column, and one more column is what? Department number column. These are the columns I'm going to keep. Let me go and keep the column names here, guys. What's the columns is employee number column, employee name column, salary column, and one more column is department number column. And what is the table name is? Employees is the table name. Now once after creating the table, next thing is what? Maintain. This is the main area where the developers will work. Maintaining is nothing but inserting the new data into the tables. Why I am creating this table? Because I want to store the data. So how you can go and store the data? First of all, I want to insert some data. Maintenance is nothing but what? Inserting the new data into the tables. Let us say I want to insert some data into this table, guys. Employee number is equals to 101. Let me keep the employee name as Warner. Let me keep the salary as, let us say the salary is 20,000. Under which department the employee is working means let me keep the department number as what? 10. Like this, whenever if you want to insert the data into the tables, yes, you can go and insert. Not only to insert the data, maintaining is nothing but if you want to update, if you want to go and update the data in the tables, update means modify. If you want to modify the data, you can go and update it. Let us say when the employee joined in the organization, what is his salary? What is the salary of the employee Warner? His salary is 20,000. Now after a few months or after a few days, by seeing his performance, I want to give some increment. I want to increment his salary from 20,000 to 30,000. 10,000 I want to give it as an increment. Now what's my requirement here is I want to modify the existing data. The old salary is 20,000. The new salary I want to keep here is 30,000. I don't want to insert one new row. I want to modify the existing data. So if you want to modify it, you can go and modify. Let us say, what is the new salary I'm keeping here? 30,000. Like this, if you want to modify the data, yes, you can go and modify it. Not only to modify, if you want to remove any unwanted data, maintaining is nothing but the third step you can perform here is delete. Deleting means remove. If you want to remove any unwanted data in the table, you can go and remove it. Let's say if there is any unwanted data, I want to remove that data from the table. If you want to remove it means yes, you can go and delete it. So maintenance is nothing but what? Inserting the new data, updating the old data, and removing the unwanted data. And next, one more point I'm keeping here, control the access to the databases. Controlling means what? Security. Now see, whatever the data you are storing in the DBMS softwares, it is secured. Let us say, who is the owner for this table? Employees means the owner of this table is, there is one employee, the employee name is A. Now who is the owner for this table? A employee. Now there is another employee in the organization. Within the organization, there are multiple employees will be working. There is another employee in the organization, the employee name is B. Now the B employee wants to interact with the data in this table directly means no, it is not possible. Another employee is also within the organization. If they want to interact with the data in this table directly means no, it is not possible. First of all, this B employee need to get the permissions from whom? From the A employee. He need to get some permissions like user ID and password. With the help of those usernames and passwords, only the B employee can able to interact with the data in this table. Other than this, without having the username and password, he is not able to interact with. So this is what the complete definition of DBMS. Whatever I am keeping here, everything I am showing you practically here, guys. This is what the definition of DBMS. And next one, need to go and discuss about what? RDBMS. Now see, what is the definition for RDBMS? Now the definitions are same. Whatever the definition I'm keeping for the DBMS, the same definition I'm going to keep for the RDBMS also. There is no change in the definition. Just I'm going to add one extra letter here, or. Same definitions case. Then you can ask me one question. If both the definitions are same, then why we need to have the two softwares here? Either you can go with DBMS or you can go with RDBMS. Why we need to have the two softwares here? Let me go and explain, guys. Even though the definitions are same, there are few differences between the DBMS softwares and RDBMS softwares. What the difference here is? Try to understand. Let us say I'm having the two tables here. Let's say I'm having the two tables. One is EMP table and second one is what? DEPT table. In the employees table, I'm having the employees data. In the departments table, I'm having what data? Department data, departments related. Now see, I want to understand which employee is working under which department. So there is some internal relationship between these two tables, EMP and DEPT. Now what's my requirement here is, in the DBMS softwares, I want to go and create the relationship between these two tables. Now it is possible to go and create the relationships between the two tables in the DBMS softwares means no, it is not possible. We are not able to go and create the relationships between the DBMS softwares. So in order to go and overcome this problem, in order to go and maintain the relationships between the two tables, I'm going and using what? RDBMS software. In the name, it is telling what the R stands for. Relational. That means you are able to create the relationships here. In the RDBMS softwares, if you have the same two tables, EMP and then DEPT, EMP and DEPT. Now, if you want to create the relationships between these two tables in the RDBMS softwares means yes, you are able to go and create the relationships. But whereas coming to the DBMS softwares, if you want to go and create the relationships between these two tables in the DBMS softwares means no, it is not possible. So what happens if there is no relationships? What happens if you have some relationships? You'll understand in the coming classes. For now, try to understand what is the main difference between the DBMS and RDBMS. In the coming classes, we'll discuss about one topic called normalization, guys. So 1 hour I will discuss this topic. So at the time of discussing this topic, normalization, there you will understand why we need to go and create the relationships. If there is no relationships, what are the problems we are going to face? So you'll understand there. For now, try to understand what is the main difference between the DBMS and RDBMS software. So let me go and keep that point here, guys. In DBMS softwares, in DBMS softwares, it is not possible to create the relationships between the two tables. If you want to go and create the relationships between the two tables in the DBMS softwares means no. But whereas coming to the RDBMS softwares, in the RDBMS softwares, in RDBMS softwares, it is possible to go and create the relationships between the two tables. This is what the main difference between the DBMS and RDBMS softwares. Try to understand each and every point of whatever I'm explaining here, guys. Don't take it as a just a demo session. Take it as a first class. Whatever I'm explaining here, each and every point is important. So this is about what is meant by DBMS and RDBMS. Now among these two, what is the software nowadays the business owners are using the most means they are using the RDBMS softwares. Why? Because we are able to create the relationships. So mostly using we are RDBMS. Now what are the different types of RDBMS softwares that are available in the market? We know that nowadays we are using the RDBMS softwares. Now what are the different types of RDBMS softwares? Let me go and keep here. Microsoft SQL Server is what type of software? Microsoft SQL Server will comes under the RDBMS software. Not only Microsoft SQL Server, guys. Oracle. Oracle is also a RDBMS software. MySQL is also an RDBMS software. IBM DB2. IBM DB2 is also an RDBMS software. Next one, PostgreSQL is also an RDBMS software. So there are a number of RDBMS softwares in the market, guys. But among all this, what are the top two softwares the companies are using means Microsoft SQL Server and Oracle. These are the top two softwares nowadays the companies are using in order to go and store their business data. Fine. Now we know that if you see in the starting of the session, I said that SQL Server is what software? Database software. SQL Server is what software? RDBMS software. Now see, Microsoft SQL Server. Microsoft SQL Server will comes under where? RDBMS software. RDBMS softwares will comes under where? Database software systems. That is the reason why people are calling SQL Server as a database software. Why people are calling the SQL Server as a RDBMS software. And there is one more. You'll understand why people are calling it as a backend development software. You'll understand this point also. Now try to understand, guys. Now we know that this is the place where we are going to store the business data, RDBMS software. Now it is just like a memory, guys. It is a memory where we are going to store the business data. Now in this memory allocation, in this memory I am storing the business data. Now once the data come into that memory, as a SQL developer I need to go and work with that data. Once the data come into the SQL, I need to go and do what? As a developer I need to go and work with the data. In order to go and work with the data, whatever the data that is stored in the RDBMS softwares, in order to go and work with the data in this RDBMS memory allocation, we need to have one more software. I am storing the data here. That's all. Now I need to go and work with the data. In order to go and work with the data that is stored in the RDBMS, we need to have one more software. That software is what? SQL. That software is what? SQL. So SQL is used for what means? SQL is specially designed to communicate with this RDBMS softwares. Why I need to go and communicate with the RDBMS softwares? Because I need to go and work with the data that is stored in this RDBMS softwares. So let me go and keep here that point, guys. So in order to go and work with the data that is stored in this RDBMS softwares, we need to have one more software. What the software we need to have here is, that is SQL. Now what is this SQL? What the SQL stands for? I think most of you people know that SQL stands for, yes, structured query language. Let me go and keep that one here. SQL is a structured query language. SQL stands for structured query language. S stands for structured, Q stands for query, L stands for language, structured query language. Now, what is the definition of SQL? I'm keeping only the abbreviation here. Now, what is the definition of SQL? Now, try to understand, guys. What is the definition for SQL is? Let me go and keep here. SQL is a structured query language which is specially designed which is specially designed to communicate with the RDBMS softwares. What is the use of the SQL? SQL is a structured query language which is specially to design to communicate with what? RDBMS softwares. Now see, if you want to communicate with this RDBMS softwares, whatever the data that is stored in this RDBMS, if you want to communicate with that data, you need to have one more software. What is that? SQL. So SQL is specially designed to communicate with the RDBMS softwares. So this is one of the definition for SQL case. So there is another one more definition for SQL. So what is the another definition for SQL is? Let me go and keep here. SQL is an OLTP software. SQL is an OLTP software which is used to store the business data, which is used to store the business data or the transactional data. What is this? Another definition for SQL is SQL is what software I'm telling? OLTP software, which is used to store the business data or transactional data. Now try to understand, guys. What I'm telling here is the place where you are going to store your transactional data. Transactional means day-to-day business data, today business, yesterday's business, tomorrow business. The place where you are going to store your day-to-day transactional business data, transactional data. Now see, where I am storing my transactional data means SQL. So the place where you are storing your transactional data, that place I am calling it as what? OLTP. It is just one naming convention, guys. It is not a software. So which softwares will comes under the OLTPs means all this. All these softwares will comes under the OLTP. Not only SQL, Oracle is also used to store what data? Transactional data. MySQL is also used to store what data? Transactional data. Excel is also used to store what data? Transactional data. So the place where you are going to store your day-to-day transactional business data, that place I am calling it as what? OLTPs. Now what the OLTP stands for means? OLTP stands for, yes, online transactional processing. OLTP stands for online transactional processing. Now this is what the OLTP stands for. This is just one naming convention, guys. Keep in mind, SQL Service what software means? It is an RDBMS software, no doubt in that. Now why I am keeping it OLTPs means the place where you are going to store day-to-day business data, that place I am calling it as transactional OLTPs. Now see, Excel also I am telling that it will comes under where? OLTPs. But Excel will comes under the RDBMS? No, Excel doesn't comes under the RDBMS. So these are the RDBMS softwares. RDBMS softwares means the place where you can go and create the relationships. So this is what the definition of SQL. And next point you need to go and understand who developed the SQL initially. Who developed the SQL initially? SQL is developed by IBM company, guys. Initially, which company is developed means IBM company. In which year it is developed? In the year 1970s. In the year 1970s, IBM company developed a software that is SQL. What type of software it is means? It is an RDBMS product, RDBMS software. This is the basic SQL that is developed by whom? IBM. But our agenda here is to learn go on about what? Microsoft SQL Server. Now, what is this Microsoft SQL Server? Still now we discussed about the basic SQL, guys, that is developed by the IBM company. Now, we are going to discuss about the Microsoft SQL Server, MS SQL Server. Now, what is the definition of MS SQL Server? Definitions are same. What are the definition I'm keeping for the basic SQL developed by IBM? The same definition I'm going to keep for the Microsoft MS SQL Server also. Both the definitions are same. There is no change in the definitions. Then what is the difference between these two is? Basic SQL is developed by whom? IBM. But whereas Microsoft, that is MS SQL Server, is developed by whom? Yes, SQL Server. SQL Server is developed by which company means? It is developed by the Microsoft company. In which it is developed is in the year 1989. What type of software it is means? It also comes under the RDBMS. It also comes under what? RDBMS product. It also comes under the RDBMS product. Now see, by taking this basic SQL as a reference developed by IBM company, Microsoft company developed another software that is what? SQL Server. That is Microsoft SQL Server. Why the Microsoft company developed another software? MS SQL means, see, IBM is one top MNC company. In order to go on their business data, IBM is developing one software that is IBM DB2. Microsoft is also one top MNC company. Microsoft is also going to generate some business data. In order to go and store their Microsoft business data, they are developing on one more software that is Microsoft SQL Server. By taking this basic SQL as a reference developed by the IBM, Microsoft developed another software that is Microsoft SQL Server. So this is the only difference, guys. Remaining syntaxes, everything will be same in both IBM developed SQL, Microsoft developed SQL Server. Both are same. And next we are going to discuss here is this where we need to go and use this SQL Server in the real-time scenarios. What is the use case where the SQL Server is going to be used? Now let us say SQL Server, SQL Server will act as an back-end development software. SQL Server will act as what? Back-end development software, which is used to store the data in the form of tables. Which is used to store the data in the form of what? Tables. So in order to go and store the data in the form of tables in the backend, I'm using one software. What is that? Microsoft SQL Server. Now see, I'm telling that SQL Server is a backend development software. Now how I can say that this is the backend development software? Let me give one scenario, guys. Let us say if you want to create one new Gmail account, what you will do? You will go to the Google Chrome and you will type there create new Gmail account. Once if I click on that link, it will open one form. You need to fill that form there. What the details you need to fill? Your first name, your middle name, your last name, mobile number, to which mobile number you want to link with the Gmail, and some reference email ID you need to pass, your date of birth, and some personal details you need to pass here for security reasons. In which school you studied, in which, what is your pet name, like this, some personal details. Once after passing all this information, you will have one button in the bottom, submit button or OK button. Let's take OK button is there, submit button or OK button. Once after filling the information, if I go and click on this submit button or OK button, it will go and open one new window where I can see my new Gmail account, where I can go and see my new Gmail account. Successfully, I'm able to create the Gmail account just by passing some information. Once if I click on the OK button, I'm able to see the new Gmail account also. But where this information is going to be stored? Once if you click on this OK button, you are not able to see this form again. Now, whatever the information you are passing here, where this information is going to be stored? Whatever the information you are passing in the Google, the complete information is going to be stored in the backend. In the backend, where it is going to be stored means databases. What is the databases? Some companies will use the SQL as a database software. Some companies will use the Oracle. Some companies use the MySQL. Company to company, the database software systems will be changed. But all the database software's functionality is what? To store the data. So this is the reason why people are calling the SQL Server is what software? Backend development software. This is front end. You are able to see the form. You are filling the form. Once the form is filled, you don't know that where the data is going to be stored. Where the data is going to be stored means in the backend. In the backend, where it is going to be stored? Databases. What is the database? Let us take SQL Server as a database I'm using here. So that is the reason why people are calling the SQL Server is what software? Backend development software. And next point we are going to discuss here is this Microsoft SQL Server, this MS SQL Server is not a single software, guys. It is a combination of basic ANSI SQL, basic ANSI SQL plus T-SQL, basic ANSI SQL and then T-SQL. It is a combination of two parts, basic ANSI SQL and then T-SQL. Now, what is this basic ANSI SQL and what is this T-SQL? This ANSI SQL is the basic SQL. T-SQL is nothing but the advanced SQL. First, let me go and discuss about the basic SQL case, and then I will discuss about the T-SQL. Now, first of all, what is this ANSI? ANSI stands for what? ANSI stands for American National Standard Institutes. Let me keep that point here. ANSI stands for what means? American National Standard Institutes. What the ANSI stands for means American National Standard Institutes. In the interviews, they will ask you this question based on which standards the SQL is developed. SQL is developed on the ANSI standards. What is meant by ANSI? American National Standard Institutes. Next, in order to go and learn the SQL, in order to go and learn this basic SQL, you need to have any programming skills means no. No need to have any programming language. Anyone can learn it. Why? Because this SQL Server is not a programming language, guys. SQL Server is not a programming language. In order to go and learn the SQL, you need to have any prior coding language like C, Java, Python, C++, Java, Python, .NET means no. No need to have. Anyone can learn. Not only from IT, even non-IT people also can go and learn it. Why? It is not a programming language. Now see, I'm telling that it is not a programming language. It doesn't allow any programming. Then what language the SQL will allows? Now if you see, SQL stands for what? Structured query language. Now SQL will allows what language means? Query language. SQL will allows what language means? It will allows a separate language called query language. Let me go and keep here. SQL Server will allows a separate language. What is that language? It will allows a separate language called query language, guys. Already you know that what is meant by language, but now what is this query? Now try to understand what is this query, guys. Let me go and keep here. Query is nothing but retrieve the data. Query is nothing but retrieve the data, or we'll call it as fetch the data, or we'll call it as get the data from the tables. Whenever if you want to fetch, whenever if you want to get or retrieve the data from the tables, in this case you need to go and write what? Queries. Let us say if there is one table, the table name is EMP. In this table, I'm having the 10 employee details is there. Now I want to get the data from this table in the output. In the output, I want to see the data in this table. Whenever if you want to get the data from the tables in the output, you need to go and write what? You need to go and write the queries. Let me go and open the SQL and let me show you how to write a simple query to get the data from the tables, guys. Let me show you how to write a query in order to go and get the data from the tables. Let me open the SQL. Now see, this is the welcome window you will get whenever you open the SQL. What is this welcome window? Each and every point I will explain you in the tomorrow's class. 1 hour of time I will discuss about this window only. Tomorrow's class I will discuss. So for now, just try to understand how to get the data from the table. Once if you open the SQL, on the left side you are able to see something called databases. Expand it. These are the some of the databases I'm having. Let me go and connect to any one of the databases. Let us say I'm going to the database called subquery. In this, go to the tables. Here I'm having some tables, employees table and departments table. I'm able to see the table names, but I'm not able to see the data. If you want to see the data in this table employees, I need to go and write what? Query. Now how to write a query to get the data from the table is, let me go and write one simple query to get the data, guys. Let me show you what is meant by a query. I want to select the data from the table. From which table? Employees table. I want to get the data from this table employees. Now select the syntax and then click on the execute button. When I click on the execute button, now see, I'm able to see the data in this table. What data is there in the employees table means this is the data. So how I'm able to get the data in this table in the output means by writing one query. So this one will call it as what? Queries. So like this, what is this query means? Query is used to get the data from the tables. And next, the next point here is This SQL Server is a both GUI and CUI software. Now, what is this GUI and CUI? Yes, let me go and keep here. GUI stands for what and CUI stands for what? Let me go and keep here what the GUI stands for, guys. GUI stands for graphical user interface. CUI stands for what means? CUI stands for character user interface. GUI means without writing any code, guys. GUI means without writing any code. If you are performing some operations without writing any code, then we'll call it as GUI. CUI means with code. If you are performing some operations by writing some code, that means with the code, then we'll call it as a CUI. This SQL server will comes under both GUI and CUI. In the SQL, there are some cases where you need to go and use only GUI options, not possible by writing some code or a query. There are some cases where you need to go and write only queries. So you need to go and use both GUI and CUI options here. So this is what the basic SQL is. From here, whatever I discussed up to here, this is about the basic SQL. Next, you need to go and discuss about what? T-SQL. That means advanced SQL. Now, what is this T-SQL? What the T-SQL stands for? T-SQL stands for what? TSQL stands for transact structured query language. T stands for what? Transact. Already know that SQL. What the SQL stands for? Structured query language. Transact structured query language. Now try to understand who developed this T-SQL. Same company. Which company developed the SQL server? Same company developed the T-SQL also. So T-SQL is also developed by the same company, guys. Now see, who developed the TSQL means same Microsoft company in the same year 1989. Now what type of software it is? Whether it is a DBMS or RDBMS software. Yes. Now see, it will comes under the OO or DBMS software. It will comes under where? OO or DBMS software. Now what is this OO? What is this OO or DBMS? I think most of people know that, guess what the OO stands for. In every programming language, there is something called oops concept. So here also this T-SQL is the advanced SQL. That's why I'm calling it as a OO or DBMS software. Now see, what is this OO means? Object oriented. Object oriented relational database management system. Already know what the RDBMS. Just I'm adding two letters here. What are those? OO, object oriented. Why I'm keeping this as object oriented means I said that already it is what? Advanced SQL. So if you go to any programming language, let us take Java. Java is divided into two parts. One is basic Java, second is what? Core Java or advanced Java. So in this, whenever you are writing any code in the real time to get the client requirement by using Java, sometimes basic Java doesn't support. So in this case, you need to go for what? Core Java. In the core Java also there is one concept called what? Oops. What is meant by oops? Object oriented programming. So by using these oops concepts, whatever the client requirement is, you are able to achieve it. So here also in the SQL server is given two parts. One is basic SQL. Second is what? T-SQL. Now while writing the queries in the real time to get the client requirement, sometimes basic SQL doesn't support. In this case, you need to go and use what? T-SQL. In the T-SQL, you are able to build some logics. So some complex logics you want to build means go with the T-SQL. Now by using the T-SQL, whatever the client requirement is, we're able to achieve it. So this is why I'm keeping the T-SQL is a OO or DBMS software. And now see this T-SQL to learn the TSQL, you need to have any programming language means no. To learn the T-SQL also no need to have any programming language. But TSQL is a programming language or a non-programming language means T-SQL is a programming language, guys. Now see, TSQL is a programming language. Now in order to go on the T-SQL, we need to have any prior coding language means no. Then why I'm keeping here it is a programming language. Now see, Even though I am keeping it as a programming language, in the T-SQL also, I will write the queries only. Whatever the queries I am writing here in the basic SQL, the same queries I will write in the T-SQL only. No other codings I am going to use. Only queries I am going to use in the T-SQL also. But while writing the query in the T-SQL, while writing the queries, in order to go and achieve the client requirement, I need to go and build some complex logics. I need to go and build what? Some complex logics. In order to go and build the complex logics, I'm going to use some control statements. And also I'm going to use one concept called variables. If you are using these control statements or variables, control statements is nothing but what, guess? If condition, if else conditions, nested if, case statement, and while loop. These are the control statements we are having. So if you are using any one of these control statements while writing the queries, then I'm going to call it as what? Then I'm calling it as a programming language. Simple, not more than that. Here I don't write any other programming. Here in the T-SQL also I will write the basic SQL queries only. But while writing the queries, in order to go and implement some complex logics, I'm using some control statement. If you are using any one of this control statement, then I'm calling it as what? Programming language. So keep in mind in the T-SQL also we'll write what? Basic SQL queries only, guys. We don't write any other coding languages other than the queries. And finally, one more point, I need to keep it here. What is the main use of this T-SQL is, it is used to, T-SQL, it is used to build the complex logics. What is the use of the T-SQL is, it is used to build the complex logics to get the client requirement. In order to go and get the client requirements, you need to go and build some complex logics. In order to go and build the complex logics, you need to go and use what? T-SQL. So that is the reason why I am telling that it is a programming language. And what is the main use of the T-SQL means? It is used to build some complex logics. Why need to go and build the complex logics means? To get the client requirement. So this is what the complete introduction to Microsoft SQL Server, guys. Let me conclude it. As I said that in the starting of the session, next 60 minutes, you'll understand all these 3 points. Now you are able to understand why the SQL Server is calling as a database software. Now you can understand why people are calling it as a RDBMS software. Now you can understand why people are calling it as a backend development software. And also we understand who will use the SQL Server software and who will hide the SQL Server developers. So this is about all about what is this Microsoft SQL Server, introduction to Microsoft SQL Server. Now I'll take the questions now. Before going to take the questions, let me conclude it. Please make a note of this point. Now try to understand, guys. Once after completion of this class, you will receive an email. In that mail, you will get today's class notepad. I will share today's class running notes with you. Along with this running notes, I will share today's class Word document. Regarding today's class, I will share the Word document. Along with this, I will share today's class recorded video. Today's class recorded video I will share with you. Go and watch it. Along with this, I will share you the course content. I will share you what? Course content. Now, what is the duration of the courses? The duration is around 40 days, max 40 days, 35 to 40 days it will take. Daily 1 hour session will be there. 40 days, daily 1 hour session, Monday to Friday. Not 1.5 hour, daily 1 hour. Daily 1 hour session, Monday to Friday. Some Saturdays I will take. If we are lagging anywhere, 1 or 2 Saturdays I will take in the middle. And now, along with this, I will share you the block diagram. Block diagram of the SQL. In today's session, I haven't discussed it. In today's session, I haven't discussed about the block diagram of the SQL Server. But in the next class, I will discuss. That is tomorrow. In the tomorrow's class, I will go and discuss about this block diagram, guys. So in the next class, I will go and discuss about this block diagram. Along with this, in the tomorrow's class, I will discuss about what are the different types of softwares you need to go and install in your systems. In order to go and work with the SQL, what are the different types of softwares you need to go and install, I will discuss. Before going to discuss about the installation part, first you need to go and understand what? Block diagram. If you don't know the block diagram of the SQL, it is not that much easy to go and understand about how to go and install it. So before going to installation part, first you need to go and understand the block diagram. Then only you are able to understand how to go and install the SQL Server softwares. So we'll discuss these points in the tomorrow's class. I said that I will share the course content, right? So this is the course curriculum I'm going to share. So clearly here I mentioned each and every point, what topics I'm going to cover in the coming classes. I will share this course curriculum with you. Just go and walk through it. You'll understand what are the topics I'm going to cover in the coming classes. So these are the things you will get, people those who are attended for today's session, and people those who are going to register with us, people those who are going to be registered with us. For the registered people also, daily you will get the notepad, daily you will get the Word document, daily you will get the recording videos. All the recording videos I will share. So don't worry about the running notes. Every class I will write some notepad I will share. That particular class Word document I will share. That particular class recorded video I will share. So don't worry about anything else, just concentrate what I'm explaining. No need to go and write any running note. Why? Because anyway once the class is completed, everything you will get in the mails. So along with this, in today's session I discussed about one table, and also we discussed about what query. So to work with the SQL, you need to go and create some tables. Whatever the tables I'm creating in the classes, I will share the table data also with you. Don't worry about the tables data also. And whatever the queries I'm writing in the classes, I will share the queries also with you. Don't worry about the queries. I written one query here right in today's session. Like this, I'm going to write some queries in the coming classes. Whatever the queries I'm going to write, whatever the tables I'm going to create, everything I will share you in the mails. So these things you are going to get people those who are registered. Along with this, in order to go and prepare the interviews, I will share two documents for you in order to go and prepare the interviews case. Interview question answers. In order to go and prepare for the interviews, I will share the question answers with you. Two documents I will share. One is topic wise entry questions. Today we discussed about what? Data, types of data, DBMS or DBMS. So topic wise, I will share some entry questions. And one more document I will share with you is real time questions case. Repeatedly asking questions in the interviews. So there are some questions will be there where they are going to ask repeatedly in the real time, that is in the interviews. So I will share these two documents with you. These two documents will help you not to go and crack the interviews. So I will share these two documents with you. Along with this, I will share two case studies. You will get what? I will share two case studies for your practice. In those two case studies, one case study will contains four tables. Based on those four tables, you need to answer 60 plus questions. How many questions you need to answer? You are in a position to solve this 60 plus questions case. And I will share second case study 2. In the second case study 2, in case study 2, I will share around 12 tables with you. Based on these 12 tables, you need to go and answer 20 plus questions. So if you are able to solve these two case studies by your own, then no doubt you are able to crack the interviews for a SQL developer. And also this course is for Power BI developers also. So this is what people those who are going to get who registered with us, and for now who attended for this today's session, I will share these things with you. And also most important point, when the new batch will start. New batch will start from tomorrow itself, that is Thursday. Tomorrow is what? 4th January, right? Yes. Tomorrow we'll start the new batch, that is 4th Jan 2024. That is Thursday. From tomorrow we'll start the new batch. And what is the batch timings? What is the batch timings for this? Is same timing, guys. Evening 8 to 9 p.m. Indian standards, ISTs. This is the batch timings. From tomorrow onwards, we'll start the new batch. So batch timings is fixed. There is no change the timings. From tomorrow onwards, every day we'll have the class at what time? 8 to 9 p.m. in the Indian standards in evening. And also coming two more classes is free, guys. You can attend the 3 classes for free. Today is the first class. Coming 2 more classes is also free. You can attend the coming 2 more classes for free of cost. Online people, whatever the link you are using for today's session to attend the class, go and use the same link to attend the coming 2 more classes. Once after completion of the 2 classes, coming 2 more free classes, if you are family, if you are okay with this training, then you can go and register with us. So tomorrow and day after tomorrow, as it is free of cost, try to use the same link and attend the tomorrow and day after tomorrow's class. Fine. Let me go and stop here. We'll discuss from here in the tomorrow's class. Now let's go to the questions. Yes, online people, if you have any questions, unmute and go ahead.
Hello.
Yes,
Hi, sir. This is Kumar here.
yes, Kumar, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, do we need any prior, programming language prerequisite for
No
this
need,
learning?
no need. Anyone can learn. Now, even from non-IT background students also can go and learn it.
Yeah,
No need to
basically,
have
I'm a
any
non.
prior coding language.
Yeah, I'm into purely functional. I'm aware of these
Hmm.
languages, and I'm aware of this, database servers and all. But so far,
Hmm.
so good. Like, I haven't worked on these tools in real time.
Hmm.
Basically, I work on the Ariba tool as a business user. I'm into core
You can
finance.
understand. See, already you are telling
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
are working on the business. So this SQL is also completely going and work on the business data only. You can understand
Okay, okay,
concepts in one go. And also no need to have any prior coding language in order to go and learn it. Comfortable, you can join the sessions and you can go and learn the SQL.
okay, okay. Fine, sir.
Yes. Yes. Any questions? Remaining people unmute and go ahead. Course fee, contact to the front office team. Contact to the front office team. They'll tell you what is the course fee structure. Coming 2 more classes is free, right? You can attend the coming 2 more classes for free tomorrow and day after tomorrow, and then you can register. Once after completion of 2 classes, you will receive an email for registration. So how to register, everything you will get there, and my team also will guide you.
Sir, when can we have a demo project or real time?
Same, everything I'm going to discuss real time only. Here I'm going to share
Okay,
the 2 case studies, right? These 2 case studies like a project, like a mini projects.
okay, 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 sir.
Any questions? You can understand. Yes, Gopal.
Hello.
Even from non, just 1 second. Gopal, you can understand. No need to have any prior knowledge. No need to have any IT background. Even from non-IT people also can go and learn it because it is not a programming language. Here we'll write some syntaxes. Anyone can understand it. Yes, you can comfortably go and learn the SQL. Yes, go ahead now. Someone is unmuted.
Yeah, this is Sahil. So I just want to have a question like the structure query language just what you have shown like in the demo one. So whether it will be helpful for me in the Power BI sessions like when it is linked with the Power BI and SQL. So this sort of queries
Yes,
also we need to write here.
yes, you will
Oh,
understand.
okay.
What topics will be
Hmm.
there in the common for Power BI and SQL, you'll understand. See, in Power BI, there are 4 modules is there. Power Query,
Hmm.
whatever the concepts I will discuss in the SQL, the same thing will be replicated in the Power Query also, no doubt. Same concepts will be replicated. But here we will write some queries. There we will use some GUI options. No coding is then Power BI. In Power Pivot also, there are some concepts. 30 to 40% of concepts we'll discuss here. The same thing will repeat for you in the Power Pivot also. So that is the reason why if you have some knowledge in SQL, it is well and good to go and learn the Power BI. Yes, mandatory you need to have
So
some knowledge. That knowledge I will provide it to you here, no doubt.
what's the better thing to go means first of all learning a SQL or Power BI?
It is up to you. See, nowhere dependency is there. In Power BI,
Mhm.
nowhere we'll go and write the SQL queries. In SQL, nowhere we'll go and try to go and create some visuals like Power BI. It is
Yeah.
completely independent. There is no dependencies there. It is
Okay.
up to you.
Uh-huh.
So if you have some knowledge already in the SQL, then you can understand some concepts in the Power BI in one go. If you don't
Okay, so
have the knowledge of
so
SQL, maybe you will take some time to understand it. That is the only difference.
yeah, the thing is like I'm very new to it. So for the SQL, but Power BI, I am not means I have already worked on few of the projects in Power BI. So very new to the
Mm,
SQL. So I need to get it right.
sure, you can
Yeah,
understand, sir.
yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Yes, any questions? Fine, guys. If you are having any queries, let me stop here. We'll discuss from here in tomorrow's class. So new batch will start from tomorrow itself. So timing is same, evening 8 to 9 p.m. and use the same link to attend the coming 2 more classes. In the tomorrow's class, as I said, that I will discuss about what? Installation. What are the different types of softwares you need to go and install in your systems in order to go and work with the SQL? We'll discuss about the installation part in the tomorrow's class. Once after installation is completed, from day after tomorrow onwards, we'll start the actual course content. Fine. Let me stop here today. Thank you for attending today's session. We'll discuss from here in the tomorrow's class. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.